The Chicago Bulls are hosting more draftees ahead of the NBA draft. Is it just due diligence, or are the Chicago Bulls looking to move up in the draft? And how would you play it? And then on the backside of today's episode, we're going to talk about Caleb Wilson's interesting comments about potentially joining the Chicago Bulls. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, like talking Bulls basketball, go ahead and support us on our road to 10K by performing your simple 2 steps. Hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It's the easiest way to support the channel. And come in, join the family, have some fun, and let's talk about Bulls basketball. Even if we disagree, it's all good will be. It's for the sake of the Chicago Bulls because we need better around here. But hey, let's jump into the content. Now, we talked about yesterday the Chicago Bulls bringing in a number of workouts and how heavy those workouts included guards. Y'all know my position. I did ask the question if Josh Giddey should be worried. My position on that was we shouldn't be worried at all unless he plays bad, because I think they'll be entering an evaluation point with the guys that are currently on the roster. But now we're hearing more updates and receiving more updates via Hoops Hype once again that the Chicago Bulls are continuing to add to the list of guys that they are holding a workout with. Now added to the list, Keaton Wagler out of Illinois, Nate Ament out of Tennessee, and Morez Johnson from Michigan. And that comes with, after mentioning a number of guys yesterday, like Mikael Brown, like Benedict Sturts, Ibuka Okori, and so on and so forth. But I think that this is something that the Chicago Bulls should be doing, going out there and evaluating one of the deepest drafts in recent memory to simply do your homework and see if you could potentially strike gold. Now, is this just due diligence, or is this an indication or indicator that the Chicago Bulls will want to, move up in the NBA draft? It's an interesting question. My answer is I think it's both. I think that in a draft that is one of the deepest drafts in recent memory, you got to potentially go out there and try to plug and pluck as many players out of this draft as possible. We know that the Chicago Bulls right now currently have 4 draft picks, 2 draft picks in the first, 2 draft picks in the second round. And they split it up into 2 days now. And I'm like, golly, now y'all giving me more things to do. God. But nonetheless, we'll be right here. But I think that the Chicago Bulls should be doing their due diligence simply because you have to see who's willing to trade down, who's willing to move up. And if you can maneuver yourself to positioning yourself into another way, and you have to do your homework and come up and say, hey, am I willing to risk some of my draft capital in 2027, 2028, so on and so forth? My position has always been the Chicago Bulls should not move out of the 4 spot to trade up or trade back. The top 4 guys in this draft are the top 4 for a reason. Then there is a break off. Then you come to the decision if you want to move off of 15 and potentially move up. And I know how I was with it. And after some discussions that me and myself and C-Dub did with new information, with the hearing of differences of opinion, C-Dub made a really good point while we were live and bringing up the fact that what if Bryson Graham in the front office don't feel as strongly about the drafts in 2027 or 2028? What if they feel this is the draft in 26 that you can strike on a number of players? And I honestly, he convinced the hell out of me. Not even gonna hold you. He convinced the hell out of me because my position originally was don't mortgage future assets. But considering the nature of this draft, all the different players in this draft that you can potentially have on your team and you could potentially snag up, and not knowing how deep next year draft will be, is something that makes me be like, hey, if you want to go out there to see if you can get an additional first round pick, why not try to offer a 2027 first round pick with some of those second round picks to try to move up and grab a player that you feel highly about? It changes a lot. And I think that a lot of times we try to stand firm on something and not really listen to the opposing side. And sometimes when you gain new information, I believe it's okay to switch your position as long as you're not being crazy about it. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. I'm willing at this particular moment in time, after listening to others and doing some dives on some of these prospects, to say, hey, if you see one of your guys falling, and let's just say you see them where they were currently mocked at 8, or Keaton Wagner, let's say he was mocked between that 5 and 8 spot, and he slides to 12, and you feel like the person at 12 I believe it's OKC, if I remember off the top. Yes, OKC at 12 and 17. So yes, OKC. Do you convince OKC, or do you want to work with them? Because do they really need a Keaton Wagner? Probably not. So do you do business with them to move up and snag a guy? Or do you say, for the sake of, we picked that 15 and Morez Johnson is still on the board, Quaintance is still on the board, Abuka Okori is still on the board after 15? Do you some way, somehow maneuver and place discussions with whoever team it is to say, hey, at 16, we want to go ahead and trade with you. We want to offer you this. We want to do this. We want to, do you place yourself in a position to go out there and grab somebody or additional bodies in this year's draft, considering maybe next year might not be as strong as this year? I will bring up this caveat before we move on, though. There were, I believe, 38 players who dropped out of this draft to go back to college. So there's a possibility the next year's draft may not be as strong as this one, but it still might have some talent that the Chicago Bulls could utilize. That's why I say these conversations are very, very fluid. I think if somebody's trying to come at any of you all with a aha, I got you moment, they're just not being realistic on the nature of these conversations. These conversations are fluid. They can go either way. It can go left, it can go right. It can go right down the middle. That's what she said. But you know what I mean? But you know what I mean, though. These conversations should be fluid for the sake of us just loving the game and trying to figure out how the Chicago Bulls will maneuver. This is we're entering a time to where this time right here, right now, it's going to be huge for Bryson Graham. We're going to see how aggressive he wants to be. We're going to see if he solely sticks to slap, which I want to mention again. He did say it's not the end all be all. We need to infuse this team with talent. How fast he's going to infuse this team with talent is something that we're going to be watching. It's something that we're going to be watching. Is he going to play it safe by just staying in place at 4, 15, and then the 2 spots in the second round? Is he going to be aggressive with saying, all right, we stand at 4, but 15 is up for grabs? Who won it? You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see how Bryson Graham maneuvers through this draft. And I'm excited to see it happen. But y'all let me know how y'all feeling about the new guys that have now joined the list of draftees to work out with the Chicago Bulls. If you want the full list, go on over there to Hoops Hype. They have the full list available for you. But on today's episode, for the sake of not ringing off about 11 names, we talked about Keaton Wagner, Nate Ament, and Morez Johnson being added to that list. Let me know down below. But hey, Now we move on. Before we end today's show, I want to talk about Caleb Wilson speaking on the Chicago Bulls. So he was up there with NBA Today over via ESPN, and Iman Shumpert, Chicago guy, was asking him a number of questions and asked him more specifically about the possibility of becoming a Chicago Bull. Man, look, let's just get to the quote and then I'll just expound on it. He asked him about what would he do to the city of Chicago if they were to select him. He said, "I'm a winner. I'm going to change that culture. I'm going to bring it back to what it was for sure. It's a great pipeline from North Carolina to Chicago. Wink, wink. Look, I look. I never go out there and try to put him in the conversations of Michael Jordan, man. But I love athletes that speak like that. Speak with belief amongst themselves. And I think that there is a way that you do it, and there's a way that you can show confidence without showing arrogance. And I believe this is showing really, really good confidence. But sometimes, let's keep it a buck. You have to have a healthy arrogance. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a such thing. If you don't believe me, just go ahead and read Will Packer's book on healthy arrogance. You know what I mean? It's a fantastic book talking about having a healthy arrogance and having the belief within yourself on why can't you be successful? Why does everyone else deserve success and not you? You should be speaking those things. You should be manifesting those things. And this type of player right here has a very high ceiling. He already has some things that he has established. Obviously, you want to see Caleb Wilson develop a little bit more, but he already has a number of tools that you can really utilize to help your basketball team. And I will not be upset if the Chicago Bulls select him at 4. Trust and believe. I believe that would be a great addition to have in Chicago, and just pairing him up next to Montes Buzelis and then trying to navigate once the pick is in and after 4, if we select them, moving on to see what will the next draft be. It's going to be a long wait between 4 and 15. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be excited. We're going to be kicking it with the guys, being live during the draft day, just to see how Bryson Graham will navigate through this. And there are some conversations though where I heard somebody ask a question. Look, this is why I say conversations are fluid. You can agree to those conversations and you can disagree to those conversations. Because somebody was like, should the new coach start Caleb Wilson automatically? Is a pig's pussy pork? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Of course he should start Caleb Wilson. Like what? What? Like, bro, we gotta keep it a buck around here. Like, there is no way that any coach that comes in here should be thinking about not starting Caleb Wilson. I'm not with that Billy Donovan shit. He has to earn it. Yes, he has to earn it. But put this motherfucker on the floor. That's how he gonna be able to earn it until otherwise. What you gonna do? Try to convince me to start Patrick Williams again? What? We're not going for that. We're not going for that. But nonetheless, man, it's good to see him say things like that, man. It is very entertaining. Can't wait to see where he goes. Hopefully, he ends up in Chicago. We'll see what happens. We don't know. There's going to be a lot of rumors. I think within the next few weeks, the rumors are going to crank up even more ahead of the draft because GMs in front office, they love throwing out fillers. Hey, say this, say that. And just to get the people wondering and just to see who's going to be flustered when it's time to make a decision on how you can better your team. We'll see what happens, man. But hey, great episode today, man. That is it for me. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button and let me know all your thoughts and comments down below. Let's chop it up on today's episode. Who is one of the out of the 3? Let me know. Who is the guy that you would really like in a Chicago Bulls uniform realistically? Would you look more so like Nate Ament or Morez Johnson? I'm not including Keaton Wagler because I don't see him being available unless the Chicago Bulls trade up for him. So let us know down below. But that is it for me, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace, y'all.
Cognac. Gang.